Hey friends, happy Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining me today. So in today's video tutorial, I'm going to be using all these products. Now, the reason that I'm using all these products is because there's just a few more days left for our 15% off the In Colors sale. And those are in colors that were just released this year. So it's 2025 to 2027. So basically anything, any product that has those colors in it will be on sale, such as this designer series paper. This is Florals and Bloom. I've really enjoyed using this. So we've got our A sides with our florals, and then you have your B sides, which are, I like to call them more geometric prints, right? So that is Florals and Bloom. Then also our cardstock, you can get these individually or as a pack. Now, can you tell which color I've used the most? Yeah, this is about all I have left of cloud cover, so that is on my shopping list. Actually, by now I've already gotten it because I ordered it back on early August because I didn't want to miss out. And plus I'm going to, I'm away on vacation for this whole month. Although by the time I get back, I'm actually I'll be on my way to Pennsylvania with my friends. So big shout out to Diana and to Suzanne who joined me in our scrapbooking weekend. It used to be a weekend. Now it's a whole week. We used to go Friday through Sunday. Now we go Tuesday to Sunday. That's how we roll, right? So our Stamp and Write markers are also on sale. These In Colors, our ink pads, including the refills. The only one that you can't get is cloud cover, and it didn't meet up to the standards of Stampin' Up, so they didn't sell it. They did offer it to the demonstrators though. So if you want one, you got to be a demonstrator. Okay. All right. So that's that. And then we have our pretty flat pearl embellishments. I just love these. I ordered another pack because I'm afraid I'm going to run out. All right. So now that we're off to that, let me take out the two colors that I'm going to use, which are Strawberry Slush and Secret Sea, and I'll put the rest over here. So I've got most of my pieces already cut and even embossed, right? So I've got a couple of pieces of, these are Strawberry Slush, and these pieces were already embossed. Here, let me show you what I'm using today. It's quite a bit, so hang on. All right, so we have Charming Day. I am using what am I using from here? I don't know if I'm using anything. Oh, yes, I am. I'm not using a stamp set. I chose not to use that stamp set, although I do love that Happy Birthday and Thanks for Being You. Really cute set. Lots of nice sentiments in here, but I decided against that. I am using the die cuts, though. So I've already got a couple of pieces cut. I've got this one here cut, which we've got right here. I'll show you that. So it's really pretty, isn't it? I love how it does that embossing detail. And then also the leaves, if I can grab them, there we go. And that was cut in Secret Sea, and that piece is right there. The one that's missing is the one that we're gonna die cut. So that is Charming Day Stamp and Die Bundle. This is part of an online exclusive. The next one I'm using is Unbounded Love. This one happens to be on the last chance list. Hopefully it's still available when this goes live. I'm using Happy Birthday and also this die right here. And I love it because the die cuts out the outer edge. So that's what that Secret Sea DSP is. And also the inner piece. And that's what I'm going to use to stamp. Obviously I had to die cut it twice, but I just love that it does that. So, and I've already put these pieces together. I added some Scotch tape to the back so it just holds it together. And then we'll stamp on that piece. All right, so that's Unbounded Love. And then lastly, I am using the textured, no, not lastly, the textured notes dies. These will die cut together. I'll show you what I'm going to do with those. And there's also a stamp set that coordinates with that. And then I used the Glass and Gardens embossing folder. And there's two in here. They're the narrow ones. So I use those. I actually use this hashtag one. And then I'm using the Exposed Brick 3D embossing folder. So I've already done the embossing on these. Sometimes that takes a little bit longer, right? So let's do this. Let's set these pieces aside and let's do some die cutting. All right, let's bring in our nice Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I've got my number 3 plate. And then I already put my dies together, sort of. All right, so I've got those two dies that are textured notes dies. And I'm going to just center those again. I'm putting this on an angle to avoid that big bump when it's going through the cut and emboss machine. It just like kind of, I don't know, there's something with these angles and just creates a big bump. So I found that if you put these on an angle, it doesn't do that. So I've got those all nice and taped. I've got my floral image there. And then I'm also going to cut one of these. This is from Unbounded Love. Not sure if I'm going to use it, but I figured since I had it in here, let's just cut it out. I'm trying to stay in the center so that if I need to, I could still use this piece, the strawberry slush, as a layering piece. So let's just run that through. Let me just check my volume. The last video I did, I forgot to up the volume. Okay, we're good there. All right, so here we go. Here we go. See how you don't get that bump when you put it on an angle? So definitely try that. It really is because of the straight angle dies, but the other ones it doesn't seem to do that. So let me just gently grab these all. Okay. Take this out. We're done with that. And rid of this piece too. Okay, so let's see what we got. And I'm using my Post-it tape, and I like to just put it back on my little holder there because I could use those a few times. So let's just gently peel that off, and they're there for the next time. Okay, so here we go. Now this is going to be trash. I should have run it through twice because it didn't cut all the way through. So let's see what we can do. If I just kind of, yeah, see, it's kind of cut, but not totally. Just trying to be careful not to rip it. Let's go back and forth. And there we go. Okay, so we got that piece. This is for the inside of the card. And you really can't tell the detail on that, but it's really pretty. Once I have it down, you'll see what I'm talking about. That's trash. And then we have our other piece. This is another layering piece for the center, so nobody's going to see that. Is this, I don't think I'm using this piece. No, I'm not using this piece because I already die cut it in basic beige. That's what I did. So this will be for another day. It'll be used for a layering piece. Okay, that didn't cut out either. There's something wrong with the center. Oh no, we got it. Oh, but it ripped my little leaf off. Let's get this out of here. And we got this piece here, so that cut out nicely. I'm not sure why this piece didn't cut out. There we go. Okay, so we'll save this for another card. This I need. Okay. So let's take out all these little bits. Okay. Got my box here, and I'm going to use, oh, look at what I found. I've been looking for these for the past month. Oh, there you go. Now I found them. And now they're all on the floor. All right, so we got the brush. I'm just going to go along here and take these little bits out. Try to. I honestly think it's that plate that I'm using. The Magic Matte plate. I think it's starting to wear on me. See if we can poke them out with my take your pick tool. All right, so I reran it through the cut and emboss machine, and I got those little pieces out, but you didn't have to see that because I fast forwarded it through it, so we don't need, I blocked it out. So anyway, I'm just looking at this piece. I think I might just leave it like this and not reattach that. I don't know. I see that there's another one of those little bits in here. So we'll just poke that out. There we go. Okay. And I seem to have lost the cap to my take your pick tool, so I'm sure it's in here someplace. All right, let's start putting this baby together. Let's see, I don't want to miss any pieces, so let's put them all out. Stick my dies in here. And my secret C piece. Okay, so we've got all our little bits and pieces here. We'll set them right off to the side. Here, here, and we got this and this. Okay, now we are back in business and we can get to work. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to adhere these pieces of DSP to these pieces, which I've scored and folded. And for the measurements to this, please be sure to sign up for my newsletter, and they will be included. Now, my original one I did in, we got any glue out of here? It's time for a new one. All right, let's get this one's nice and full. So my original one was in portrait mode. This one is going to be in landscape. Now I see that I oozed some out there, more than I wanted. Let's put this down, center that out there. Let's give it a little press. Oh, and we oozed. Yep, I knew I did that. So let me get my silicone craft mat. I love to use my silicone craft mat to just blot up those little things like that. Flip it upside down, and there we go. And we'll just wipe the excess, and we'll wait for that to dry. Okay, so let's do the same for this piece. I just want to make sure it's going the right way. I want my flowers pointing up that way, so we're good. And this one I use the exposed brick, and the other one I use the, what's it called again? Glass and Gardens embossing folder. Now that one is not a 3D embossing folder, but what's nice about it is it's smaller, so you can get little pieces on that. But the reason I did this, I know you can't see that, but it does show on the other side. So I thought when you open these little flaps, you can see that. So that's my reason behind it. Okay, so before we adhere that, so these pieces here, we're going to put one going here. So I'm going to just put that right up against that. And then the other one is going to go on the other side, just like so. So I just want adhesive on these little strips here. So let's do that right now. And just put a nice thin bead here. So, and then move that right to there. And let's get that straight. And then we're just going to fold that down like so. And I'm going to hold it there for a bit. And then make sure that we're good. And we're good. Okay, we're lined up top and on the side. Great. Then I want to do the same with this piece. This one's a little more narrow. Now this one, the measurements that you'll get with the PDF are for the 1/2 inch score. This one was a 1/4 inch score only because it was a scrap piece. And rather than cutting a whole other piece, I decided to use this one and just score it at a 1/4 inch. So we'll put that there and then make sure we're going in the right direction with that. So I'm going to add this to the top. And so it's totally optional to do the embossing, but like I said, I think it just finishes the card, so then when you're opening these flaps, you can see the nice embossing on the inside. All right, so that is that. Just move that up so we're good. Okay, so that's going to overlap that. Perfect. Now we're going to hide our sentiment, which is this one right here. So I'm going to put that right there. So whatever size sentiment you use, and I could have gone bigger, absolutely, but you want to just make sure that it's hidden under those little flaps. See how it shows in that little corner there? So I don't want that, so I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more there and here. So I know that I need to, so it's not going to be perfectly centered, pretty much though. So there, okay. So before I do that though, I want to stamp my sentiment. Got my craft mat here, my pierce tool, and we're going to put happy birthday and Secret C. I see that I have a little bit of tape there, so I'm going to just cut that off. Okay. And we got our Secret C. I'm just going to, of course I did it again. I had my Versamark right there. When you're using these blue and red, you want to use Versamark so your stamp doesn't stain, but this one already had quite a bit of staining to it, so it didn't really matter. But I will show you on my other piece though, which is here. This is going on the inside, so we're going to stamp that while we have it out. Why not, right? So for this though, I want to add, I need a scrap paper. I think we'll move this out of the way for a sec. So I'm going to add just a little bit of highlighting before I stamp it, just a little bit. So we're going to blot that off, and I'm just going to do kind of, and I'm going very lightly in the center here, just adding a bit of color here. Very little though. I'm going to go just a little bit more up in here, like so. Then I'm going to do my splattering technique. All right, we're going to just add a few little dots. And I wanted to do this beforehand, before stamping. You can certainly do it after. And put as many as you want or as few. And I'm going to add some to this piece as well. So, all right, so now we're going to do the same thing with the strawberry slush, but I'm only using a strawberry slush on this piece, just to add a little bit of color here and around. I don't think it'll pick up on these embossed pieces. All right, so that's good. We're done with that. Let me bring this back in, the pierce mat back in, and we will stamp, "May all your wishes come true." Oh, isn't that the truth? Okay, so we're just gonna put that right in the center, like so. Perfect. And I think, and I just say that lightly because I think I'm all done with my stamping, but it's here in case I need it. And of course I didn't use the Versamark, so I'm just gonna put that away. All right, so we got that. All right, let's put this on the inside first. I don't need this anymore, so we're gonna put that away. I try to be a very neat stamper, card maker. So I like to put things away as I go. All right, so we're gonna put that piece right there. And let's get our craft mat and our glue. Bit. I'm not too worried about the glue that just got in the card because we're gonna cover that up. Move this around so it's even. Okay. And these were die cut with the Textured Notes dies. Those are really great dies. Okay, we're just gonna lay that right inside here, like so. Okay. And we'll add a little glue to the edge. Pop that right in there. I just love the way this looks. It's kind of like an inlaid wood look, right? I just love the way that looks. So that's done with that. I'm not sure what I got in here. Something. Nice big splatter. Okay, so this piece is going on the outside here, like so. And I'm going to put this where? I put that here maybe. Can't really see that there, can you? So let's see if we like it on the inside. Or maybe we don't use it at all. I might not use it at all. All right, let's put this. I definitely want to put on this side here though. So let's add some glue to this piece. And you probably don't want to use dimensionals on this card because it's already got a bit of bulk to it. And the price of postage, you definitely don't want to have to add extra postage. Okay, so that is that. And this piece, like I said, we're going to pop it right in the center. Again, I love this inlaid look, so that's definitely something I love to do. I'm just going to put that right there and close it, make sure that it does not show. And it doesn't, then we can press it down. You wiggle it just a little bit up. That. Okay. Actually, I could put this piece right over here if I wanted to, because then it won't show. Well, it might show on the bottom, but nope, it doesn't show. Okay, so I think we'll do that. All right, let's see. Since we die cut it, right? Well, I have those other pieces die cut, and I probably won't use them now. But, you know, I always like to die cut more because I can, if I don't use it on this card, I can certainly use it on another card. So it's always a good idea to have a few extras. My hands are already full of glue, so I'm trying not to get too much more glue on them. All right, so we're just going to put that right about here. Looks pretty there, right? Make sure it doesn't show. Yeah, just a tiny bit. I'll move that up just a tiny, tiny bit. So, all right. Now you can't see it. Beautiful. And let's see, what was I going to do with this piece? I might just overlay that here. So let me just put some dots of glue. This is like the hardest thing for me to do. One of the hardest things, because my hands are shaking. It's just never fun. So we'll just layer that right over there. So do I want to use this piece now? Because I have this extra piece. I'll just kind of lay it here off to the side, right? I think that would look nice, maybe. Or should we leave it off? No, I kind of like it there. All right, we're going to add it. And you know what? I used all those pieces now. So let's add a little bit of glue to this. Now I guess I could use my little thin point glue, but you know, I didn't. So here we are. Here we are. All right, next we're going to put this piece down here, and then we'll add some pretty embellishments, and we will be done. All right, let's center this on the front of our card. My hands are so full of glue. Oh my goodness. I usually keep hand sanitizer in here, but I don't see it here. All right, so there you go. We're going to put the glue away now. This piece here. Let that dry. All right, so let's add some embellishments, okay? I'm going to take your pick tool. I'll add some pretty strawberry slush right here. Should we go with Secret C? No, let's continue with strawberry slush. I don't think I really use these too much. Yeah, let's do this one down here. About here. And then we'll add another little one there. Probably here. Right, I think that looks pretty. And I'm not going to add anything there. I think that looks pretty. We're showcasing that beautiful flower. And yeah, so what do you think, guys? Isn't it cute? So here's your flaps. You got 1, 2, and 3. So triple flap fun fold. I love it. Beautiful. So let me show you, this was our landscape one. Let me show you the portrait one. This was my sample that I made. So it came out really cute. I kind of just threw pieces together and I was like, all right, let's see what happens with it, right? Oh yes, it is a full card. So you open this flap up and you open this flap up and hip hip hooray. How cool is that? These were actually some ephemera pieces. I don't remember what the set's called. And then these pieces here were actually from a Cards and More pack, I think we had gotten in at Onstage in March. So here's my second sample. How gorgeous is this? These pieces, the DSP, and the sparkly DSP, the glitter DSP, that will be available come September. So look out for that, as well as the Stampin' Dies. So check this out. Now this one I did pop up, you'll see. So, and I have the wing kind of holding this piece down when you lift it up. It is a sympathy card, but you know, we all need those. And then I used my, what the heck is this called? I don't remember which embossing folder this is. Linked or, no, it's not linked. I don't remember. But that's that card. And then I used the new embellishments, and then you open this one up. And this one opens vertically, like so. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. So pretty. So those are my cards for you, friends. Let me know what your favorite one is. I hope so, friends, thanks again for watching, for liking, commenting, and sharing my video with your other crafty friends. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, Stampin' Simply with Maria. I will get those back up in September, though. But for now, here we are. And don't forget that 15% off sale going on through the end of August. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.